This is the only movie that can be watched by 8 people together. A highly explicit movie that scared away 9 people after devouring 7 young girls. You can exchange for a devil that can destroy the world. The moment it was born, heaven and earth were overturned. Deadwood revived. Its power even Jesus cannot directly face. And after watching it, you will realize, there really is a God. Unable to govern even one's own place. The story starts with high energy. December 32nd, 1957. A priest hurriedly walked into the church. What's strange is, while pleading for forgiveness from God, he stabs a dagger into the baby in his arms. But in the midst of hesitation, he is shot dead by the police who arrive. It turns out there is a rumor that on the day of the waning moon, the demon will give birth to the chosen child. There will be a unique mark on his left shoulder. If he is not killed on the spot, he will later transform into a devil, bringing endless calamity to the world. Perhaps it's fate playing tricks. 30 years later, the baby has become an intern priest. He was ordered to go to the monastery for training. Although the environment is dirty and messy, he has his own ulterior motives for this trip. What's eerie is, there are no fruits or vegetables here, only half-cooked meat for every meal. It's hard to swallow. Others, however, eat it with relish, in order not to be seen as different. Little Shuai can only suppress his disgust and force himself to swallow. Not long after, he starts vomiting incessantly. At first, he thought it was just a matter of adjusting to the environment. Until he spits out a tooth from his mouth. Touching something that doesn't belong to him, he realizes that the meat he consumed is not simply from ordinary animals. Ordinary people might be afraid. But this is not unexpected to him. Little Shuai is not a priest after all, but a police officer. He infiltrated this place to investigate a series of missing persons cases, possessed by a demon. People are often sent to the monastery for treatment. But what's strange is, the girls who are brought here, regardless of the success or failure of exorcism, they go in but never come out, without exception. During this period, he also observed the ritual. The entire process was recorded without any violation. As for the possessed woman, her clinical symptoms, it cannot be explained within the realm of medicine. As the ritual begins, the dean sprinkles holy water, and a hint of murderous intent appears in the woman's eyes. When the exorcism spell is chanted, her body starts convulsing. And the cross, meant to suppress evil spirits, unexpectedly bursts into flames. Various strange phenomena occur. Even the experienced Xiao Shuai finds it hard to believe. But being an atheist, he firmly believes in and trusts science. So, late at night, he sneaks into the exorcism room again. Sure enough, he discovers a syringe used for anesthesia. Not only that, there is a hidden mechanism beside the bed. The shaking of the person on the bed can be controlled by stepping on a pedal. And the most outrageous thing is, that the cross which caught fire during the day is actually a lighter itself. It turns out that all of this is just an illusion created by the dean. And the monastery must be hiding some unspeakable secrets. Realizing this, Xiao Shuai prepares to leave first, but he finds that the doors and windows have been locked. There is simply no way to escape. Taking advantage of the situation, he sneaks into the dean's office. Looking at the friction marks under the cabinet, he pushes it open. Behind the wall, there is a hidden black hole. At the moment he reaches in, little does he know the nightmare is just beginning. The man reaches his hand into the hole. What he pulls out is a piece of eerie statue. The lower half consists of teeth, while the upper eyeballs keep spinning. At the moment of eye contact, Xiao Shuai immediately coughs up blood, and there are numerous live flies in between. Before he can recover from the horror, a black face rushes from behind. Various strange phenomena start to make the atheist doubt. But now the place is heavily guarded, making it impossible to leave. Instead of waiting for death, he decides to take the initiative. Taking advantage of the late night, Xiao Shuai slips into the graveyard. He digs up the recently buried woman whom the exorcism failed on. However, the coffin is empty. Before he can think further, a sack attacks from behind. When he opens his eyes again, he finds himself tied to a bed. Surprisingly, the dean doesn't kill him, but instead brings him food again. Before the meal, the dean pretends to sincerely pray to God, but a slight act of disobedience only resulted in punches and kicks, until he was forced to eat the entire 4 pieces of meat. Of course, as a former police officer, Xiao Shuai would not surrender. In the late night, while the guard was asleep, he quietly untied the rope in his hand. Taking advantage of the guard's momentary distraction, he shot and killed him. Then he slipped into the kitchen, because he suspected that the bowl of meat must be problematic. Indeed, in the pot in the back kitchen, rotten meat was already infested with flies. Among them were human teeth. And in the storage room, there were 7 broken limbs hanging. He discovered it was the vice dean. Some time ago, he had discovered the abnormalities of the monastery and secretly alerted Xiao Shuai. Because the monastery needed money to operate, the dean began to conduct fake exorcism ceremonies. As long as he recorded the process of deception, he could commit the perfect crime and obtain funds from the church headquarters. But the vice dean refused to participate in the corruption. He had considered escaping, but he was caught and beaten. He believed that the dean's motive was only for money and harm. But what the vice dean didn't realize was that behind all this was a much larger conspiracy. He opened an ancient book. Legend has it that on the night of the waning moon, a demon will give birth to the chosen one. After devouring 7 wicked women, he will be resurrected, transformed into a devil to wreak havoc on the world. These words, Xiao Shuai clearly doesn't believe in, but strangely enough, the signs recorded in the book match exactly with the birthmark on his left shoulder. The two decide to escape immediately, carrying a lamp through the dark underground passage. They've only walked halfway. But the vice dean points the gun at himself. This scene is the most thrilling moment in Polish film history. At the moment of the devil's birth, the heavens and the earth overturn, dead trees revive. Even Jesus can only turn away, unable to look directly. For 800 years, the monastery has been waiting for the birth of the devil's son, and the one who provided the anonymous report was the dean himself. The purpose of what they are doing is to gradually make Xiao Shuai believe and willingly consume the flesh of the 7 sinful women. Now the final step is to spill the innocent woman's blood. All the believers eat together, await to be granted eternal life by the devil's power. But the gateway to hell remains closed. But there were no missing pieces. Yet the devil did not descend. Everyone was at a loss for what to do. They didn't know where they went wrong. To prevent exposure, the vice dean had to silence them by killing. He ordered his subordinates to throw Xiao Shuai into the well. People started to scatter, and the dean felt disappointed. He spent his whole life just to see the moment of the devil's arrival. That night, he drank a lot of alcohol, unaware that the statue of Jesus on the wall started to hang upside down, and in order to take control, the vice dean smothered the dean to death. He ordered his subordinates to burn all the remains, whitewashing the sins committed by the monastery. But just when it seemed like everything had ended, Xiao Shuai suddenly woke up at the bottom of the well. He wasn't dead. He climbed up from the ruins. But then his body started convulsing, and he began to decay. Meanwhile, during the prayer, the vice dean suddenly floated up. Evil gathered like flies, flying into the secret passages, and then at the moment their eyes met, everyone wanted to escape, but they were frozen in place. After seeing the devil's appearance, could only slowly turn its head away, until the entire church collapsed. The heavens and earth were overturned, and the withered tree was reborn. A war of destruction began to unfold. This film is superficially a horror story, but in reality, it is more like a prophecy. The wicked woman represents the 7 original sins. A small part of humanity, driven by greed, brought the devil to earth to satisfy their desires. The devil finally appeared, but the servants did not obtain the desires they sought. Instead, the devil destroyed everything.